Well, hey guys, I wanted to check in kind of midweek and make sure that we're on the right path and hopefully fill you in and remind you about some upcoming stuff. At this point, if we look down the list, we can see, woo, we got a lot of stuff done. I'm still, uh, because of the kind of the craziness of my schedule right now, I'm hoping to get your speeches back to you soon, potentially as early as tomorrow. But the good news is that we don't have upcoming speech assignments, so you don't have to worry like, oh, how does he grade speeches? You don't have to worry about that for a while because we're still in the writing unit. But do note that on Monday, you'll have that first reading quiz due. Remember, that's 100% due from your readings. So make sure that you, if you go to schedule here, you can see all of the readings that have been due thus far. There's a lot of stuff on APA. So in your little APA manual right here, a lot of the chapters are out of that. You've got two chapters out of your comm textbook. So those are open book. Remember, you can have that open, your book open, but you only have 25 minutes, and you'll only have you'll have 25 questions. From what I understand, you take them one at a time. And remember, this quiz wasn't made by me. It's for all CIS students across the university, and it's a little bit different. It's drawn from a bank for each individual student. But just know that you will be accountable for all those readings up until that point. So going back to the main, excuse me, the main stuff in our course, I just wanted to kind of remind you about this revision assignment. So this is due Monday, October 3rd, which is coming up relatively soon. Don't let this slip by on you though. You've got your feedback from me. Hopefully that was helpful for you, and I'm happy to provide further feedback if you have additional questions. Before you start revising that paper, make sure that you read through the entirety of this revision assignment. So I'll look at it here with you, but notice that our essay for this course, the 150-point major essay, is due very soon after this. So hopefully you are continuing to think about essay topics, and remember, you should already be beginning to think, and I would say even write things for your essay, even if you aren't to the point yet of revising your first paper. So there's overlap on this. You may be writing your essay while you're continuing to revise your first paper, and that's difficult. That adds a little layer of complexity, but I know you guys are up to it. You don't have to have that overlap though. If you want to knock out this revision assignment and then shift gears and move to your essay, that's fine. I would just say do it sooner rather than later. So the idea here again, and we may have talked about this briefly, is just that in academia, nothing is ever finished. You're always revising. You think you've got your final copy, but yet there's more work to be done. And so hopefully you realize that's the case on your first paper. But this assignment is designed to kind of track that those changes that you make in a literal way. So these are the learning objectives, but your main purpose here is to identify a personal weakness or personal weaknesses rather in written communication and work through them in a thoughtful manner. So you've got your feedback from me, done and done. Now you're going to go back and revise your paper, but again, before you do that, you need to make sure that you're turning on track changes in words. So this will require you to identify areas for improvement in organization, intro, transitions, conclusions, etc. And I just want to set this up for you. You've got feedback from me, so let's have a quick pop quiz. Is my feedback exhaustive? Just take a moment to answer to yourself. No, it is not exhaustive. I feel like this is the shows that my 2-year-olds watch where they're like, do you see the man? And your kid yells no at the screen, or yes. So is my feedback exhaustive? No, it is not. So you need to be looking at some of this on your own. So don't just do the things that I've suggested. Go beyond that. Look at the rubric on categories that you didn't score perfectly on and build in those things, even if I didn't leave a particular submission comment about it. And looking at things like intro, transition, conclusions, etc., content mechanics. So this you could take your paper back to the Writing Center and get free help or Presentation U if you live on campus. Or again, remember you can set up online consultations with Presentation U. You also are going to record a video reflecting on your revision process as well as strengths and weaknesses as a writer and goals for improvement. We all have those. We all should have goals as well. So revise your public speaking analysis using track changes in Microsoft Word. Remember, you can get Word for free as a UK student if you're not using it currently. You must use track changes so that your instructor can see what changes you made. There's different ways to do it for different versions. This is very key here. You can set it up, you get instructions for how to set it up through this video. But once your revisions are complete, you will save the document as a PDF and upload it here. So you should be submitting a PDF that allows me to see So like on one side, it's going to be your paper and the revisions, and there also should be like a running log on the other side that shows everything that you've done, things you deleted, things that you've added. So you should have all that, and a PDF should capture that, cement that, and then you upload that to Canvas. So you can see here, you do have to upload a PDF. You get 35 points for this. So 10, all changes were made using track changes, and a document is submitted as a PDF in Canvas. And you can see how you lose points based on if you do this correctly or not. Based on original submission for the major chunk of this, 25 points, writer seems to have thoroughly addressed all issues with organization, content, and overall writing quality as necessary. So that's huge. If you want 25 points, you need to have addressed all of these issues. And that task will be more difficult for some of you based on the shape that your first draft was in. But all of us should be making some improvements. Please don't look at your paper and say, I don't really know what I could do better, right? If you don't know, then take it to someone and let someone else help you. If my comments aren't good enough or if they're not direct enough for you, enlist the help of someone else. The other revision assignment I wanted to look at with you is the video reflection. So this is the second component of that. It's also due on October 3rd. But you are going to overview the steps of your process. What did you do to identify areas for improvement? So you may talk about my feedback, you may talk about enlisting other help, you may talk about looking at it with fresh eyes or whatever. After reviewing the information, what strengths and weaknesses do you see in your written communication? What are your goals for improvement in writing? So instead of all your changes will be submitted on the document, this is just kind of where you talk about what the changes are, what those goals for improvement are, your strengths and weaknesses, and just kind of like what that process was like. So 5 points for video quality. We've talked about some guidelines for video quality already. Thoughtful reflection and responses to each of the required questions is 10 points. Remember, you can see those questions right up there at the top of the screen. So don't forget, again, you do not, what you don't want to do here, I'm in modules on accident, I'm going to go back to home, pardon all the clicking, but what you do not want to do, you do not want to get to October 3rd and say, whew, all right, I'm done with that. I'm going to give myself a couple days break, and then I'm going to start thinking about this 150-point essay that's due, in 48 hours. Do not do that. So if you want to knock out the revision assignment now, that's great. There's no reason not to, actually. So I would encourage you, the earlier the better, so that you can start thinking about this essay. We talked about the prompts for that. Sorry, I clicked the peer review thing. We talked about the prompts for that in a previous video, but I would encourage you to be thinking now, so you can view the draft here, but look at the final here if you want to see the information on the specific prompts and the materials that you'll need in order to successfully complete these. So again, let me urge you, do not delay on getting started on the essay. Start. My advice would be to finish the revision assignment ASAP and then begin to move on to thinking about the essay. And I'm here for you. Whatever questions that you have about that, please let me know. But hopefully you are increasing in your confidence as a writer, and this revision assignment will help get you there. All right. Well, thanks guys, and look forward to seeing your work and your reflections in the future.